Legend has it that there is a giant fish, which is the incarnation of drowned souls. Many people try to catch it, but nobody can. On the day his son was born, Edward had used his wedding ring as bait and successfully caught the big fish to congratulate the birth of a son, also to give his son a chance to catch it in the future. Edward let the fish go. This is the story which Will had listened to for 20 years. Obviously, his father is a normal man, but he has a loose tongue. Even on his wedding day, he still repeated the story about the giant fish, losing face in front of the crowd.
Night in your entire life, the universe did not revolve around Edward Bloom. How can you not understand that?
I'm sorry to embarrass you.
Will hadn't spoken to his father for 3 years, until his mother had called to inform him that his father had fallen ill with cancer. That him and his wife finally came back home. When he saw a child playing with a shadow, he remembered about the fairy tales which his father used to tell him when he was small. The father in those stories was an extraordinary man, spurted out from his mother's womb like a fish. When he has grown up, he heard that a witch was living in town and was going to take risks. The others didn't have the guts to come close to the witch's house except him. He had seen his own death in the witch's glass eye. Will had believed this nonsensical story for a long time, till he became an adult. His father still used to talking wildly. Now, he doesn't know how much longer his dad can hold up. He was afraid that he won't have a chance to understand his dad.
I just want to know the true versions of things, events, stories, you.
His father still lived in his own world. The man who had always hated being bed-bound was now stuck in bed. This reminds Will of his childhood, when he had chickenpox and had to stay in bed. His father had told him a story to ease the time. The others all grew up slowly, but his father grew up instantly. The muscles and bones were not keeping up with growth process, so he had to lie in bed for 3 years, reading to pass the time. A book said that if a goldfish is kept in an aquarium, it will be a small fish. If people give it more space, it becomes a big fish. The father realized he needed a larger space. Time passed, and he became a youth. He was a high school star athlete, entrepreneur, and a local hero. One day, a mysterious monster came to town and ate livestock during the night. Because he had already known about his death, he knew the monster can't hurt him, so he volunteered to get it to leave.
So why are you wasting your time in a small town? You're a big man, you should be in a big city.
The small town can't hold a giant, nor satisfy the ideals of his father, so they decided to live together. There were 2 roads outside the small town. One is a large open road, the other is a cloudy forest shortcut. Because of curiosity, the father chose the forest path. He promised to meet the giant on the end of the road, then ventured alone down the risky path. He overcame the small dark road, which was full of obstacles. The father discovered a dreamland, the town of Spectre. The entrance to the town is lined with a lot of shoes. Everyone was walking barefoot on the soft grass. The mayor enthusiastically welcomed Edward and introduced Nord to him. Nord was a poet. Like Edward, he was far from his hometown, lost in Spectre many years ago. He was living a very happy life here. In 12 years, he wrote 3 verses. The grass so green, sky so blue, Spectre is really great. The mayor's daughter was extremely fond of Edward. To keep him, she took off his shoes and hung them at the town gate. But Edward still wanted to gather with the giant, so he decided to leave Spectre. When he was about to go, the daughter of the mayor was so attached.
Promise me you'll come back.
I promise. Someday. When I'm really supposed to.
After seeing the giant again, they go together to a prosperous city. This place is so colorful, extremely full of life. When watching the circus perform, the appearance of the giant captured the eye of the circus chief. So he let the audience disband, persuading the giant Carl to stay. At this point, Edward saw his wife in the crowd, stunningly beautiful. She definitely his lifelong love. At that moment, time stood still. Edward passed through the crowd, brushing all the popcorn in the air, to Will's mother. What they don't tell you is that
What they don't tell you is that once time starts again, it moves extra fast to catch up.
to get information about the person he loves. Edward had worked for 3 years without pay for the circus. The circus owner was afraid that Edward would go away, so he told him only one thing about Will's mother every month. Gradually, Edward learned that Will's mother's family was very wealthy. Will's mother liked daffodils best, was going to college, and liked listening to music. Too, but he still didn't know the girl's name, nor where to find her. He did not want to wait any longer, so he went to find the circus leader. Unexpectedly, on the way to him, he encountered a wolf. Clement Edward did not let his colleague shoot the wolf. Instead, he played fetch with him all night. The next morning, he discovered that the wolf had turned back into the circus chief. In return for the fact that Edward did not kill him, the circus chief told the truth. Will's mother is Sandra, a student at Auburn University. The semester is coming to an end, so Edward immediately ran to confess his love. But Sandra said that she was engaged. The words "give up" don't appear in Edward's dictionary. A drawing appeared while Sandra was studying. The cloud of confession in the school sky. Early in the morning, Edward had filled daffodils out of the dormitory.
I told him it was the only way to get my wife to marry me.
You don't even know me.
I have the rest of my life to find out.
In stark contrast to the heavy-hearted Edward is his narrow-minded fiancée, Dawn. After seeing Dawn beat Edward brutally, Sandra determined to return her engagement ring and married Edward. But the happy days weren't to last long. Married for a while, Edward had to enlist in the front lines. He always remembered Sandra. On one mission, he ran away with a pair of conjoined twins who were defecting from the enemy. Around this time, because the army had not heard any news about Edward, they sent death certificate. But 4 months later, he returned as a miracle. He finally could have a happy life with Sandra. To support his family, Edward worked as a toy salesman. He accidentally met Nord at the bank. Nord said Edward leaving Spectre that year inspired him. He decided to leave town to experience the riches of life outside. So he came here to rob the bank. Edward accidentally became an accomplice. Unfortunately, the economy was in a downturn. Banks went bankrupt. Many recent efforts only acquired more than $400. Edward had mercy on Nord, analyzing him in the economic situation. Nord listened carefully and had a conclusion.
I should go to Wall Street. That's where all the money is.
Just like that, Nord, with Edward's gift, went to the Wall Street. When he made $1 million, Nord returned and gave Edward $10,000. He wanted to refuse, but Nord said that was the pay Edward deserved for inspiring him to work. Edward used this money to buy a house with a white picket fence. With a romantic atmosphere, Will gradually had a beautiful life as he matured. Time goes back to the present. Will had a family and had endured enough stories his father made up.
Good, bad, everything. Just show me who you are for once.
I've been nothing but myself since the day I was born. And if you can't see that, it's your failing, not mine.
Will turned with nothing left to say, but as he cleared the pool, he suddenly saw a giant fish swim past. It seemed to indicate that his father was not lying. That day, when Will was cleaning the closet with his mother, he found a death certificate.
That really happened?
Not everything your father says is a complete fabrication.
His dad didn't tell the truth, so Will went to investigate by himself. Thanks to a piece of land purchase and sale, he found a woman, the daughter of the mayor of Spectre. Will touted his father had an affair with Jenny. If not, why didn't he care about his family? Jenny said in his whole life, Edward only came here twice. First time was when he got lost. Second time was to save Spectre. That year, the town was discovered by people. Banks embarked in exploiting comprehensively. Accumulating debt makes the town at risk of bankruptcy. When Edward got there, the town was being auctioned. He had no money but tried to persuade other rich people to help him buy it back. To conserve the dream town, and the mayor's daughter can stay at her hometown. She had also expressed feelings for Edward, but he was extremely loyal to Sandra.
I'm in love with my wife. And from the first day I saw her till the day I die, she's the only one.
For Edward, there were only 2 women in this world. One is mother, one is wife. Such heavy love was the true appearance of Edward. Will's mood was extremely complicated. He never understood his father. When he went back home, the house was empty. Because of his illness, Edward was hospitalized. The doctor asked Will if he knew about the day he was born. He smiled and repeated the giant fish story he had recited by heart. The doctor told him the true version of the story. His mother gave birth prematurely and was hospitalized by neighbors. His father was busy with work, so could not be there, and he was very sorry about it. So he invented that beautiful fairy tale so that Will's birthday was filled with hope. That's how his father is. He went through many hardships his whole life, but always kept an optimistic outlook, turning difficulties into fairy tales to bring warmth to others. The people in the story are not fictitious neither. They are all people that his father used to help. The giant monster is of tall stature. The sisters are indeed twins, but they are not conjoined, and nor the poet too. They all appeared at Edward's funeral to talk about his ordinary but exciting life. Before his father's death, Will finally realized his attitude towards life. So, he decided to continue the story. An optimistic and honest person like Edward won't have to die in bed. He will escape from the hospital to the riverbank, waving to everyone like a hero. Everyone will smile. Instead of sending him off with sadness, Sandra sat in the middle of the river, waiting for him to come and get the ring, then let him sink into the water, turning into a giant fish as he desired. The classic Big Fish by Tim Burton told a story about a father and son. The reality is the same. Dads are not usually as good at expressing affection as their mothers. The older he gets, the more persistent, the more silent he becomes. But have you ever tried to find out his past and dig deeper into his thoughts? Perhaps each father was exuberant when they were young, but all because of responsibility. They become a normal person in the crowd. But that bigotry of love is the most romantic thing.